Hi, everybody. It's Scott Licky from Democracy Tomorrow. This will just be a short one. What do you think about the idea of open borders? I'm sure to a lot of people it sends shivers of fear down your spine to imagine that the border that surrounds your country would be open to whoever wanted to come in and visit or reside there and work there and establish themselves there, set up businesses and so forth. Others perhaps may welcome the idea, realizing that many analysts believe that if borders were entirely open across the world, so no borders existing anywhere, and people could travel freely, reside anywhere they wished, in accordance with the international right to freedom of movement and the right to choose one's residence, work anywhere they wished, and accompanying goods and services would also be able to flow freely across borders, that the global economy would increase in size anywhere between 67 and 147% over and above what it is today. And today, the global economy is worth 115 trillion, that's 12 zeros, US dollars annually. So were borders to be open according to this theory, we would have a global economy that was perhaps double or even larger than double over and above what it is now, $230 trillion or more. That argument alone would seem to be relatively convincing when we consider that there would be so much more to go around. Essentially, we would have the possibility, we already have it, we don't act on it, but we would have the possibility of promoting greater equality, perhaps ending and eradicating poverty forever, improving infrastructure, improving the natural environment, so on and so forth, where that amount of additional funds and resources be available to everybody. Not only that, of course, we'd have a truly cosmopolitan world. And cosmopolitan cities, cosmopolitan countries work. By and large, they work. Over and above those arguments, of course, is the simple fact that dozens of countries have experienced population loss in recent years, and this is expediting, it's speeding up in a whole range of others. In some countries, birth rates are declining dramatically, and deaths are outnumbering new births. And an economy which is losing population, yes, there are, of course, some benefits. There's less traffic, there's less crowding, there's less competition for resources, but probably far more importantly than those benefits are the drawbacks. There's not enough workers to do the work. There's not enough tax money to pay for those who are elderly. The economy shrinks. The GDP goes down. Economic growth goes down. And the list goes on. Perhaps many of these countries that are losing population, some of them are some of the wealthiest countries in the world, by the way. Japan, South Korea, Italy, Hungary, a range of others, could benefit greatly from increased immigration were we to have open borders. Now, this is not to deny at all the fact that many countries are undergoing political crises due, at least in part, to uncontrolled immigration, so-called illegal immigration. And in some cases where this is not done carefully, the immigration process, it can lead to an overflow of people to certain areas at certain times. But by and large, most immigration works without us even thinking about it or hearing about it. It's about 4% of the human race right now that lives outside of its country of birth. Most of the people that do that do it out of economic or political necessity. Some do it because it's interesting and they want the adventure. Making an international move, moving from one country to the next, is considered on the scales of stress one of the most stressful things you can go through. So there's a reason that not everybody does it. It's not just whether one has access to resources or not. Yeah, they say after the death of a spouse or a child, an international move is right up there on the list of stress inducers because you're leaving everything behind. So why don't more people move already, even in this context where there's no automatic guaranteed full scale open border situation in the world? It's still never been easier, one could say, to move from one side of the world to the other. Residency arrangements are changing dramatically. It's possible to buy a passport in a number of countries. It's possible to get lifelong retirement visas in dozens of countries now. It's possible to get residency. There are nomad visa um, regulations popping up all over the world. It's really never been easier to move to another country and establish yourself there. But still, most of us don't do it. Even in the European Union, 27 countries of the European Union, where for 30 years or so, you've had the full right to move to any other fellow European Union country, no questions asked. Somebody living in Germany can move to Spain tomorrow, no questions asked. Somebody living in the Netherlands can move to Greece tomorrow, no questions asked. And the list goes on for all 27 countries. And there are other countries, of course, in the region that are aspiring to become members of the European Union, countries like Serbia and Albania, and a range of others. The negotiations between Turkey and the European Union, I believe, are on hold. They've been ongoing for decades. The possibility of Ukraine joining the European Union is very much on the table, et cetera, et cetera. But for those 27 countries that exist already, what percentage of people born there are actually moving to other countries on a permanent basis? I always assumed the number was quite high. That's probably just because of the people I meet and hang out with doing international work. But in fact, the number is really low. It's around 4%. So only around 4% of the 500 million or so people living in the European Union have actually decided to move from their home in whatever it may be, Brussels, and they decide they've had enough of Brussels, so they just want to move to Salzburg in Austria. Only 4%. It's a very tiny amount. And so, yes, the economic situation in Europe is better than in many regions of the world. The discrepancies between the wealthier part of Europe and the poorer part of Europe is smaller than in many other regions. And certainly, the wealth of the European Union is fundamentally different on a per capita basis than the wealth in neighboring Africa, for instance. So there are a lot of variables to look at. But nonetheless, the number remains small. Who knows what it would be if all countries opened their borders to others on the basis of some sort of world citizenship arrangement. But it may result in some sort of overwhelming numbers in certain places at certain times. Yes, particularly right at the beginning when people were suddenly so excited about the idea that they did move. But clearly the market is going to sort things out, at least to a degree. People are going to generally tend to go somewhere where they know they can get a job and they know there's possibilities on the economic and social fronts. They're probably more unlikely to try to migrate somewhere where the economic conditions are horrible, where unemployment is 50%. There's a war going on, whatever the case may be. So certain regions are going to benefit more or be more attractive to migrants than others. And that will change and fluctuate over time. But the argument that the global economy could double or more as a consequence of open borders is something to be taken into account. And not only that, people who are wealthy are already effectively able to live anywhere they want. For them, there are no borders anyway. They can, if they ask the right people, be assured of a place in a whole number of countries, probably just about any of them. So we currently have a situation where the wealthy can live anywhere they want, effectively. The top 1% or more. Even the top 10%, one could say, can live virtually anywhere if one knows how to go about arranging it. But for the poorest 90%, that's not the case. So what would happen if there were open borders? How would you feel if we had a situation like that? Of course, it would be shocking at first. I'm sure, for many people. And there would need to be some sort of regulatory system that allowed some degree of management of such an arrangement. But what do you think about that? What do you think about open borders? It's such a major political topic in so many countries now. And if the world is a truly unified place, if there truly is a global economy, if we are truly all the same, and we're aspiring to a bigger and better system than the one that we currently have, one day, open borders will presumably have to be part of it. So I would love to hear what you think about it. I know this will terrify some people. I know others will embrace it heartily. What do you think? Let us know. It's Democracy Tomorrow. Please subscribe, please like, and we'll see you again tomorrow. All the best.